Okay, let's jump in. We're doing a deep dive today looking at child custody. We've got the source material you shared, and it seems packed with practical advice.
Yeah, it really is. And right off the bat, it lays down something pretty fundamental.
Which is?
That when it comes to custody decisions in court, it's not really about what seems fair between the parents.
Okay.
The absolute #1 focus, it's the child's emotional security, their best interests. That's the core principle this source keeps coming back to.
Got it. So the child's well-being is paramount. That feels like a really important starting point.
Exactly. Everything else sort of flows from that.
You mentioned practical tips. The source gets specific, right? Like actual life hacks for navigating this.
It does. One thing it strongly suggests is keeping what it calls a parenting journal.
A journal? Like just writing stuff down?
Well, yes, but specifically documenting things. Think consistent routines, who handles school meetings, doctor visits.
Oh, okay.
Even just the day-to-day interactions. The idea isn't just keeping notes for the sake of it. It's about building a picture, demonstrating your consistent involvement, showing stability for the child. According to this source, that's the kind of evidence judges look for when they're assessing, that best interest standard.
That makes a lot of sense. It's about showing your commitment, not just saying it.
Precisely.
Okay, so documentation is key. What about communication? Especially between parents, I imagine that gets tricky.
Oh, absolutely. And here's where the source gives some really sharp advice. Almost a warning, really.
Okay, let's hear it.
It cautions heavily against venting, especially like complaining about the other parent online. Social media, texts, emails.
Right. Oh boy.
Yeah. The source is blunt. You have to assume anything you write down digitally could end up in court.
Wow, screenshots are forever, huh?
Basically. And it's not just about, airing dirty laundry. It connects back to the child's well-being.
How so?
Because that kind of documented negativity, that conflict, it can be used to argue that a parent is prioritizing their own anger over the child's need for peace and a low-conflict environment.
Right. Puts the focus back on parental fighting instead of the kid. That's a really stark reminder in this digital age.
It definitely is. You have to be so careful.
So if you can't vent digitally, and communication is obviously necessary, does the source offer better ways to handle things?
Yeah.
Strategies?
Yes. It strongly advocates for mediation.
Mediation. Okay,
Yeah.
Tell me more about that through the lens of this source.
Well, the big push here isn't just avoid court. It's framed more constructively. It's about using mediation to actually build a parenting plan together, collaboratively.
And the benefits claimed in the source. What are they?
Obvious ones first. Potentially saving a lot of money, time, and emotional stress compared to a court battle.
Sure, that makes sense.
But beyond that, the source emphasizes that mediation lets families create what it calls fair, compassionate custody solutions. Tailored ones.
Tailored how?
Because you're working together outside the, sometimes rigid structure of the court system, you can design a plan that fits your specific family, your child's actual needs. It allows for more nuance than a judge might be able to impose.
Okay, so let's try and summarize what we're getting for this source material.
Yeah.
The absolute main thing is prioritizing the child's emotional security. Full stop.
That's the foundation.
Then, practically speaking, it means things like documenting your involvement, that parenting journal idea.
Yep, showing stability.
Being super disciplined about communication. Especially avoiding negative stuff online or in texts because it could be used against you.
A huge point, yeah, that digital footprint.
And then seriously considering mediation not just to avoid court, but as a way to proactively build a workable, child-focused parenting plan together.
Exactly, a collaborative approach.
The source seems to wrap this all up with a really powerful idea.
It does. It essentially says, your child deserves peace more than you need proof.
Peace more than proof.
No. Yeah, it really shifts the focus. It suggests that aiming for clarity, for resolution, for lowering the conflict, that's ultimately more beneficial for everyone, especially the child, than just trying to win or prove the other person wrong.
That's a strong message. Peace over proof. It makes you think. Well, it makes you wonder, if you really took that mindset to heart, focusing on clarity, on de-escalation, like this source suggests, how might that change things? Not just in a legal situation, but maybe in how you handle conflict in any personal relationship. Something to chew on.